Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to teach you today how to lie. And I'm talking slowly because this is pretty much something I think you'd want to hear. The first rule about telling lies is that you mustn't be ever caught telling lies. The key to telling lies effectively is credibility. You must always be a credible person. And the only way to be a credible person is to never be caught in a lie. And the easiest way to never be caught in a lie is simply not to tell a lie in the first place. But is it humanly possible not to ever tell a lie? Is it humanly possible to tell children under the age of 5, for instance, about how they were born? Is it okay to be truthful all the time to old people who have dementia, for instance, or who we haven't quite told about the death of a family member, a relative, to protect them because they are vulnerable? Those are all ethical questions that lying bring about. So as society, the moment we tell people not to tell lies, we're effectively asking them not to be human, because there will be exceptions that even we will agree deserve a lie. And so, isn't it a more effective conversation to ask ourselves, if and when we do have to lie, how do we lie properly? And that's what this is about. First of all, my advice is that if you're ever going to lie to somebody, let that person not be someone who knows you intimately. The reason why I say this is because people who know you intimately already know your patterns of behavior. The way you become friends with someone is because they expose who they really are to you a step at a time. So in the good times, when everything is fine and you guys are having a drink, the kind of things they say, not only about themselves, but of other people and how they treat other people, helps you to build a profile in your mind as to who they really are or who you think they are and whether or not you want to be friends with that kind of person. Extrapolate that in terms of intimate relationships. You're married to someone or you're going out with someone for a very long time who already knows how often you eat, the kind of sports you like, why you prefer one friend to the other, the kind of girls that you look out for, including herself, how often you want to do the do. If someone has already created a profile for you in their minds, you should always assume before you tell them a lie that one of the easiest ways to know that you're not being honest is that the pattern of behavior has changed. And that's exactly how, whenever you interview couples who are heading for divorce or who've had, find out that their spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend is cheating, whenever they think back, they can almost literally tell you the first time that the cheating happened. And if you ask the person who's cheating, they normally confirm and say, yes, actually, that was the first time that I went all the way with the other person. And the reason is very simple. Body language, pattern of behavior. You get edgy. You suddenly don't want the things you always used to want. The things we used to talk about that used to make you laugh, you're suddenly not finding them funny anymore. There's a different thing you have found that is contradicting to what we are used to. And so somehow mentally your routines have changed. And those changed routines have changed your pattern. And a changed pattern means that instead of us to want to do the stuff 3 times a week, now you want it once. Agreed, as adults, we grow out of it. And I'll give the excuse to say, you're getting busier, I'm no longer as interesting, the kids have come, whatever it is. But the truth remains that they do notice the pattern of behavior. So if you're ever going to lie to people like that, just know that the truth will come out. It will. And the moment that you lie, especially if you had a moment to think about the lie you're going to tell, or you had a moment to reflect on the kind of lie you want to tell, you must already have a contingency plan for how you will deal with the truth when it comes out. just assume it will come out. Some of the best liars will tell you that they are so good at it because they already anticipate the outcome. So they say to themselves, as I'm telling you this lie right now, when you do find out, what am I going to do? Will I stick to character, which is what 85%, and I'm just throwing my statistics out, I have no basis, of men will tell you that they would do. They'll stick to it. They'll say to themselves, the worst has happened, I'm going to die with the lie. They will stick to it. You can show whatever receipts you want, you can show whatever evidence you want, you can bring whatever witnesses you want. What they're going to keep telling you is, if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. I don't remember. This is what I remember. And as gaslighting as that sounds, there's no argument you can have against somebody who just doesn't want to remember an incident. And the further away the lie happened from the day you find out, the easier it is for people to say, I really don't recall how it happened. So that's the thing. Credibility. Never be caught telling small lies. Don't lie for benefit. Don't lie for advantage. If it's literally not a life and death situation, and it literally doesn't involve the innocence of children or protecting the vulnerable and the elderly, and it doesn't have to deal with protecting other people's reputation, then you have no basis to lie. You have absolutely no basis to lie. Lying because it makes you look, the truth makes you look bad, it's not a good reason to lie. Lying because you think the person will not be able to handle the truth is not a good reason to lie. Lying because you want the person to stay in your life for longer than they should is not a good reason to lie. The moment you make a decision to tell a lie, you must make a decision that you will bear the consequence of that lie. And that includes letting the other person walk away. The decision to stay in your life is a daily decision that the person has to make every time they wake up. And it has to be their decision. They must not be manipulated into staying. They must not be gaslighted into staying. They must not be lied to into staying. Let people go. No matter how they are to you, however close, however intimate, no matter how long the marriage is, let it be their decision to continue to stay with you in view of and in spite of the truth. Admittedly, some lies, well, it's complicated. It really is. I'm not being naive to thinking that telling the truth is always honky-dory. What I am telling you, therefore, is how to then tell a lie with credibility. Two things. You either, after you've told the lie, that is, you either immediately after telling the lie, as soon at the earliest moment where that lie was no longer necessary, things have changed, you've all grown, find time to come back and tell the truth yourself. That way you control the narrative. You secure your credibility and say, I still came forward myself and I still told you the truth. So you should therefore understand that I lied out of necessity, not just because it was fun to do. Because you didn't come back to ask me about the truth, I told you. Or, secondly, you can stick to that script forever. That is pretty difficult to do. Because as you grow older and people get wiser, loyalties fall apart. People who are helping you to keep the lies and the secrets, they grow up, they change, they become religious. The need to help you to keep a lie going gets more and more difficult and unnecessary. And at some point, especially in a relationship, the other person will find out. Sticking to your guns, in spite of the evidence, just makes you look like a shitty person. It erodes your credibility, which is what I always started with. But you can try. And if you start down that road, you must stick to it. But have good reason why you're doing it. It better be because telling the truth is literally going to destroy someone else's life. If I had an affair with someone who's married, I would never tell anyone else. Not because I'm scared, but because the other person's life is on the balance. It's not good enough to say that because of my peace of mind, I should destroy someone else's peace of mind. But what I will do, usually, especially if I feel rarely that I owe you some explanation, which I never do, to be honest. I make sure, no matter relationships I'm in with anyone, I make it very clear that there will be things I can't tell you. And luckily for me as a lawyer, that's easy to swing because confidentiality is what we do. But I'm very clear up front, and I say to you, I can't tell you that. That's my answer. If you're accosted for the truth on something that you definitely can't tell them, the most powerful thing is to say, I actually cannot tell you that. Now you're free to assume what you want, but I can never confirm or deny it. And don't take my inability to answer you as an answer, because you will say, well, if you don't say yes, that means it's no. And if you didn't say no, that means it's yes. Believe what you will. It's fine. But if you're willing to do that, then you can't be close to people. You have to be always ready to emotionally detach from people, because they will walk out of your life. Truth is vital, and truth is important to everyone, not just the person you're talking to yourself as well. The same way you'd be heartbroken to find out that people that you thought highly of are not who they are, is exactly the same way that a lie will hurt. So if you're not willing to tell the truth, or you're willing to just stay uncommitted and not confirm or deny, then always be ready for the consequence, and don't try to stop the consequence. Make it their choice and tell them, I can't tell you. I really just can't tell you. There's a lot larger at stake, and I want you to trust me. I know that's hard, and I know you think I'm lying, but it's not for me. So if I'm not telling you, it's not for me. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of the consequence of telling you the truth. I'm not afraid of you walking out of my life. That's not what I'm afraid of. If there's anything bigger than me, then you should realize that it's really big. And trust me. Trust me. And if they don't, let that be their choice to leave. There's consequence to every action. You just bear the consequence of your lies. Well, I know that this will spark an ethical debate. I'm happy to have it. As somebody who is going through school again right now, I've realized that Nigerians run away from ethical debates. We want things to be in a certain way, undisturbed, the way we have been taught growing up. We want our moral values to be unchecked. We want our traditional values to be unquestioned. And I think it's time we start questioning them. Just based on common sense and based on our points of view, we should start questioning them. That's what I'm trying to do with this video. So let me know, as usual, what you think. Tweet at me, ROQZEE. As you can see, I take this topic very seriously, because at the end of the day, we are human, and there are things we can't run away from. Happy to hear your feedback and your thoughts. Cheers.